You people, more history will come to you as we go by in the years to come. Let me now call my friend Olara Otunnu from Uganda, from Lira, Acholiland, a great nationalist in Uganda, a brilliant politician, a brilliant scholar. Thank you.
Omera Dr. Uru, Omera PM Raila, Mama Aida, Mama Margaret Kenyatta, brothers and sisters, Governor James Orengo, my old friend, and Governor Professor P. Nyong'o, I greet all of you. I have come from Uganda with a strong delegation. There is no time to introduce them to you. We have come to pay tribute. We've come to pay tribute to Jaramogi Odinga Oginga, Lawilwen, Oluma. We have come to pay tribute to him with you. In Uganda, there is great excitement. As we were trekking our way here, we kept receiving messages from people who were wishing us well on this occasion. So PM and Dr. Oburu and the entire family, thank you for organizing this. We thank you. Because of time constraint, I will be very schematic. We grew up in the powerful shadow in East Africa of the figures that you saw in the photograph that Dr. Michael Chege just showed us. Bildad Kagea, Aguin Kodek, Acheng Oneko, Pio Gama Pinto, Paul Ngei. Later on, we would add J.M. Kariuki, Taita Towet. We grew up in the powerful shadow of these nationalists. I, of course, didn't know Jaramogi then. I didn't know him in Kenya. But I was very fortunate I would get to know him in New York as his resident assistant. Jaramogi in the early 80s would travel to New York because he had an NGO registered with the United Nations. And also come to New York to organize to travel to neighboring countries. And I was therefore his resident assistant in New York and very fortunate to spend a long number of hours with him. I just want to say this. First, Jaramogi could have become a historic president of Kenya. He did not. But he became somebody more important, with an impact more durable, because he led by example, because he led and lived by his conviction. Jaramogi therefore left a powerful legacy for all of us. The second thing I want to say is that I was struck by the virtues, by the attributes that were so self-evident in Jaramogi. His faithfulness to the people, his courage, his sense of duty, his tenacity in the struggle, and very rare, his self-denial. Denying himself in order to serve the greater good of the community. Jaramogi was also, in spite of his suffering for many years, always committed to reconciliation. These are attributes which, in my view, were not accidental. The Luo elders have attributes which are expected of them. as Jodito Pacho, and these attributes of Jaramogi come straight from that tradition. May God bless him for all that. Thirdly, I was struck that Jaramogi, among the African leaders, was a deeply rooted leader, rooted in his own culture, in his tradition, in the history of his people. That is what gave Jaramogi the confidence to be so open and so cosmopolitan, and to accept other cultures and tradition and not be threatened by any of that. He made friends all over. You cannot be a great leader in Africa if you are floating in thin air. You have no roots. It's like Okot Bitek's song of Laweno, without that being the authentic voice of his mother, written in the idiom and rhythm and meaning of his own people, it would not have made the impact it did. So in the political arena, Jaramogi was the equivalent. His rootedness made him a more authentic nationalist in Kenya. He made him a more powerful, convincing Pan-Africanist. How I wish that more of our leaders today would have those virtues. Then let me say this. Before Jaramogi, Bobby Marley said and sang, "We cannot sing the Lord's song in a strange land. We cannot sing the Lord's song in the land of not yet Uhuru." Jaramogi particularly provided this dirge, this soul searching, this credo cur, because of the wholesale plunder that some of our leaders are doing to our country. Not corruption. Corruption is a polite word. Wholesale plunder that is taking place. Jaramogi spoke of not yet Uhuru because he was opposed to some of the African leaders manipulating our ethnic diversity and richness to divide our people. Jaramogi never accepted this. Jaramogi said, "Not yet Uhuru," because he wanted power to be with our people, to elect those that should govern them, and not the string of rigged elections. And Jaramogi said, "Not yet Uhuru," because he believed in an egalitarian society, a society in which a child from the remotest village in Kenya can become Professor Nyang' Nyong'o. A child from the rural areas and the slum can tomorrow become Dr. Uburu. He believed with all his heart in that, in providing equality of opportunities. So, if we are today celebrating the life and contribution of Jaramogi, are we prepared to be worthy heirs of Jaramogi? Are we especially address this to the leaders and the intelligentsia? Joma wangu yabe. Are you prepared to be worthy heirs of Jaramogi's legacy? To fight the fight that he left midway. It is the unfinished business of not yet Uhuru. Are we prepared to accomplish that struggle? That is the meaning of today's gathering. And if we leave here determined to accomplish the unfinished business that Jaramogi started, then I'll say, what Jaramogi, what Kikuch, Oterawa, Yue Kikuch, La Wirwuri, We Kikuch, La Wimon, Pien, Wabichobo wot mamegi. Wabichobo lweny ma chao. So, Jaramogi, rest in peace. This mission will be accomplished. Rest in peace. Apoyo, erokamano.
Aya. Next time you come, Olara, they will be speaking Acholi. Apoyo, erokamano.